Croc is a PS1 gem from 1997 that just got remastered slash retooled for modern platforms, HDifying the textures, adding a new control scheme, and giving health bars to bosses, while generally preserving the original Croc experience for better or worse. They gave this game 20 trophies on PS5, but a platinum is not one of them, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. I do not for the life of me understand why games will add trophies but not the main trophy everyone's shooting for if they give any damn about trophies at all. Was PlayStation out? Do they need to restock? It took me about 4.5 hours to beat this game and collect every trophy, and having no platinum at the end of it just boggles the mind. Crash Bandicoot has a platinum, Spyro has a platinum, why not this? Then you have the price point of $30, which is apparently $40 in some circles, for an aforementioned 4.5 hour completionist experience revitalized from a nigh 30-year-old game. This game costs $1 for every year it's been since the original came out. If you wanted to sell me a $30 Croc remaster and have me believe it's worth it, you would have remastered and packaged the second game in here as well, and given both of them platinum trophies. I don't know why they didn't do the second game. Basically every other PS1 platformer mascot with more than one game has had their whole franchise reignited, some even calling it that. Hell, even Gex is getting the whole trilogy touched up at a TBA date, but no Croc 2? Anyway, that's all the stuff that bothers me about this game's release. Let's get to the game graph, where we're out here judging story, graphics, mechanics, and fun as separate categories before culminating with an overall score at the end, starting with story. Croc's story is pretty much exclusively implied, not like a Dark Souls game, but you'll watch events unfold with no dialogue and have to assume what's happening and guess the motivations behind it all, kind of like a Dark Souls game. The evil Baron Dante seems to have a hate boner for Gobbos, which is how I think it should be pronounced. Apparently it's Gobbos, but that doesn't rhyme within itself when it could have, so they fumbled. So Dante kidnaps the whole tribe of Gobbos, who are these immortal yet defenseless furry orange critters, but at the last second the king spirits away an orphan crocodile they had been raising named Croc, and it's now his job to rescue them all. I say they're immortal because Croc can butt stomp them with no repercussions, and if you break one out of a crate that's suspended over a hazard before you activate the platform that's supposed to catch them, they just stand in boiling tar or plasma water like it's no big deal, waiting patiently for you to kill yourself trying to save them. Obviously, it's a standard fair story with no twists and turns, no better or worse than anything else out of that era. Your mission is laid out before you, and you complete levels until it's done. Story gets a 70, which is what I give the ones that are only there for necessity without doing anything good or bad. Next is graphics, and Croc presents you with some options. You've got the fully overhauled HD remaster, where edges have been smoothed out and colors pop as the default setting, but with merely a touch of the touchpad in level, you can swap to two other styles. One is a more OG style that still looks a bit crisper, and then there's a middle ground that sort of blends a bit of the other two together. Having these options toggleable whenever is pretty cool. I didn't even know it was a thing until I randomly pressed the touchpad once at a level, and it was like, whoa. The biomes in Croc still stand out and look great. I love the snow and ice in the second area, and the castle interior of the fourth is appropriately foreboding. Croc has never looked better, but it's not revolutionary in any sense, and the graphics still aren't on par with the remakes of Crash or Spyro, for instance. But they don't offend, and I'll give graphics an 80. Now we have mechanics, and the final big change to talk about that actually will revolutionize how you play this game. Modern controls. What's great about this is that classic controls haven't gone away. If you're using a controller, you can use the D-pad to still have the classic tank controls where your character uses left and right to steer themselves and the camera while up moves forward. But if you want free movement that feels more like other 3D platformers, just switch to the analog sticks. Twirl and spin around to your heart's content, jump back and forth in opposing directions with increased aerial mobility, which has the added benefit of making some of the minigames easier, and use the right stick to tilt the camera anywhere you want. I defaulted to classic for the first 5 or 10 minutes for comfort, but once I got into modern, it really was just modern all the way. It's just better. The only downside is the added flexibility can make it harder for Croc to recognize when he has to grab a ledge if he jumps at it from a weird angle, but you can still endeavor to line those up better. They also added health bars for the boss fights, so you can more easily tell when you've done damage, since some of them are pretty stiff to react to stuff as per the original. They wanted to improve controls and UI, but enemy AI doesn't seem to have been on their list. The bosses are all as stupid and easy as ever, even more so now that modern controls make it easier to dodge or run away from them. They added a trophy for completing every boss level without taking a single hit of damage, and that was mostly a complete breeze with only a slight injection of BS on some of the attacks. The bosses are still the weakest part of the game by far. More than half of them consist of you just standing there or jogging away until they tire themselves out and you run in and spin them, rinse and repeat with no other tactics. Compare that to the variety of a Crash 1 or even a Spyro 1 boss, and it's not great. The regular platforming level mechanics are fine and serviceable, though. Croc's health is gauged by how many crystals he has on hand, and like Sonic, he drops them all if he's injured, but as long as he has at least one, a hit won't kill him. You'll go through levels trying to rescue 6 Gobbos while collecting 5 colored gems in each level that unlock a color gem door at the end that houses the final Gobbo of the level. It's a formula that works, and they don't really change it up beyond adding some darkness and underwater sections, the underwater sections in particular working about as well as you'd expect. If the mechanics of the first game were a 50, with the jank platforming and controls and boss fights and hit detection, the remaster bumps that up to a 75. Modern controls really do make you feel like you're playing a whole new game. Next is fun. Is Croc fun? Yeah, fleetingly. It's a short-ass game with some frustrating jank that your nostalgia has to help you overlook, whether it's not grabbing ledges you clearly grabbed or running off platforms because you were too close to their edge and the game didn't register your X input, or getting hit by swinging chain balls that were actually not even in the same zip code as you. But if you played this game as a kid, then fun will remain at an acceptably high level for at least the majority of the time, so fun gets an 80. And now it's time for the overall score, which is not an aggregate of the previous scores because some things are weighted differently. I'm giving the Croc Remaster a 78 out of 100. It's a nice trip to go back through some of these biomes and enjoy the quintessential Croc experience with some improvements, but maybe there's a reason this franchise didn't take off like others of its ilk. And that's going to do it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos with a pet Gobbo in each hand, and I'll see you guys next time.